Now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. Tiffany Ervin is known as the Rotary Geek. She's going to be giving us a talk on adventures in Rotary service. Now she's been on 2 international service trips for Rotary International this year, served as district governor of District 7670, published image chair, and for the district conference 3 times. Glutton for punishment, right? Amazing. Okay, so Tiffany led the breakout sessions of the 2015 Rotary International Convention in Brazil and the 2017 convention in Atlanta, as well as numerous other Rotary District conferences and seminars around the United States. Tiffany believes true happiness comes from giving back to others, and she's often heard saying, work is a 4-letter word, volunteer is not. Please help me give a warm Rotary welcome to Tiffany Ervin.
Thank you so much. All right, are we on?
Yeah, juice it up.
How's that? Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, there we go. Great. I'm pretty loud without it, but thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here today. What an honor it has been in your district this week. You are my 8th club visit this week. And so I'm officially on vacation after this meeting today. Bill, my fiance, flew in last night, and we are going to eat and drink around the world tomorrow at Epcot, I believe. So, but an amazing opportunity to be here. And Kevin Shindock from the Kissimmee Bay Club helped set all of this up for me this week. And I'm grateful for his friendship and his ability to do that. I got to see DG Andreas last night at his club, and I saw DGE Dawn this morning. And what a, I said to Andreas last night, every club has outdone themselves with the club before. And he said, well, you're saving the best for last, right? So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As they mentioned, I'm a past district governor in Rotary 7670. Cindy Ciochi was my governor classmate, for those of you who remember her. We were governors in 2019, 2020, which is, of course, when everything shut down. And they did mention that I'm also known as the Rotary Geek. I don't really remember how that phrase started, but I remember thinking, is that complimentary? I'm not sure. But the definition of a geek is someone who is passionate about a topic that they also have some knowledge of. And so I think that I'm in a room full of Rotary geeks, and it's nice to be in good company with you all. So mostly I'm also known, though, for my high heels. I have 5-inch rhinestone heels that were designed that say Rotary Geek on the side. And then I had another pair made that have the Rotary theme from the year I was governor. And so people kind of know me for those. And I'm in love with your shoes and your we're going to talk afterwards. So people say, well, why aren't you wearing your shoes today? I fell and broke my ankle, and I cannot get back into my heels yet, but I do hope to be back in them one day. So I'm just wearing my Rotary skirt and my Rotary clothes until then, and my purse and things like that. But I love traveling and sharing a little bit of my Rotary story, because I look at Rotary a little bit differently than most people. And I think that in order for you to know how I became this Rotary geek, you have to know where I came from. So I'm going to share with you a couple of quick stories of things that influenced me growing up. The first of which, I am affectionately called a PK. Do you guys know what that is? Now, see, when y'all answer me that fast, you make me a little nervous. Yes, I'm a preacher's kid, and I know that everybody thinks we're the ones that got your kids in trouble, but that is not the case. I am very grateful for the opportunity to grow up watching my daddy always giving back to others. And I see your Salvation Army here today. That's been a big part of my past as well. I chaired as the first female board chair of our local Salvation Army at home. And I think I learned all of that from watching my daddy when I was growing up. But I grew up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Did any of you guys also have like church league softball and church league basketball when you were growing up? Yeah, we all did that, right? So my brother and sister are 10 and 12 years older than me. So they were always playing sports out there with my mom and dad. And I was usually just playing in the dirt because I was so little. But I can remember one night we were late getting to a game because my dad had a meeting. And then we walk up to the dugout and my daddy says, "Hey, Dennis, how we doing?" Dennis says, "Preacher, we're down 16-0. My daddy says, "Oh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it?" He goes, "It's okay, preacher. Don't worry. We hadn't batted yet." And so that was one of those really awesome experiences. But when I was growing up, no matter what I was going through, my daddy would say, hang in there, baby. It's going to be okay. You just hadn't batted yet. And that's a really good lesson to teach a young person. And quite honestly, watching him as I was growing up, I think I was destined to become this Rotary geek. And I didn't even know what Rotary was at the time. Now, I have very thick skin, obviously, growing up as a preacher's kid. But to make matters worse, the second thing that influenced me growing up, I am also a has-been beauty queen. I competed in the Miss America organization, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was. But it was a great opportunity for me. I've heard all those misconceptions too. I know what people say about us pageant girls. You know, I heard the one about the girl in Interview. She was asked, what is your opinion of euthanasia? And she said, I believe they should have the same rights as youth in America. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Quite honestly, it was a great experience for me growing up, competing in the Miss America organization. Community service and giving back to others is a really big part of that organization. I also learned poise and posture and public speaking and interviewing skills and a lot of leadership, fundraising experience, all of that. And I'm really grateful for that. I also earned enough college scholarship to pay for my education at the University of South Carolina. I heard we have some Gator fans. We share our love, hopefully, for Steve Spurrier. I do love me some Spurrier, but I'm a huge Gamecock fan. And so I was able to pay for my college education through the Miss America organization. And here's a piece of trivia for you. I won talent in the Miss South Carolina pageant, playing dueling banjos on the flute. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it later. But it was a great experience for me because I was already learning the value of community service and giving back to others. Even really before I knew what Rotary was, I think I was destined to become this Rotary geek. So I was a member of the Rotary Club of Hendersonville for many years, and I went every week to lunch, and I chaired every committee, and I got brought in speakers and I brought in members, and Rotary was really important to me, but I never really saw the big picture of Rotary. And my mother was born with spina bifida. And so at one time, my club was raising money to go and deliver a container of wheelchairs to Medellin, Colombia, to children that had spina bifida. And I thought, that is something I really need to do. I think that that would really impact me. I think that I could make a difference there. So I saved my money to go on this Rotary trip. And when I did, everything changed for me because I saw a mother pick up her child off of a dirt floor and put him in a wheelchair and give him mobility and independence for the very first time. And everything changed for me because you see, for the first time, I was no longer in Rotary. Rotary was in me, and I could see the big picture. And I really believed that was going to be my purpose in this organization because I believe that who we are is what we do with what we have. Who we are is what we do with what we have. And we all have different skills and talents and passions that we bring to the table. The question is, what's missing from your table? And so for me, I can't write a big check to the Rotary Foundation. I'm just out there trying to figure out how to pay my mortgage sometimes, like a lot of other Rotarians I've learned. But I believe that I can give what I have, which is the ability to speak for a living or do social media or fundraising or special events or whatever the case may be. And I truly believed that buying more and more wheelchairs was going to be my purpose. And I was grateful I got on the opportunity to do a few more of those trips over the years. But I didn't know that a few years later, my mother was going to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And you know, everywhere I travel now, I don't meet anyone that's not been affected by this disease in some way, in some format, in some fashion. And 6 years ago, I got an opportunity to start serving on the board of the CART Fund, Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust. It's a nonprofit that was started by one Rotarian who had this crazy idea that if he put these blue buckets in the center of his lunch table in Sumter, South Carolina, every Monday, and asked his friends to throw their pocket spare change in there, that somehow we could come up with a cure for Alzheimer's. It sounds like a crazy idea, doesn't it? That was in 1995. This past year, I had the opportunity to become the new part-time executive director of the CART Fund, and I'm very excited about that opportunity. But this year, we will give away some more grants for research, seed money for researchers to help work on this disease. And this year, because of Rotarians just like you in 25 Rotary districts and more than 425 Rotary clubs, we will top $12 million in research because people have thrown their spare change into a bucket at Rotary clubs all up and down the East Coast. I'm very excited that your district governor-elect, Don Harris, has agreed to name a district CART chair. And with the help of past Governor Denny, we are bringing the CART fund back to District 6980 here. And I'm really excited for you guys to learn a little bit more about our organization, because 100% of everything that we raise goes directly to research. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity, because Alzheimer's is a horrible disease. And I believe that there are people in our communities that perhaps would like to learn more about Rotary, that have a passion for finding a cure for Alzheimer's, but didn't even know that this was something that Rotary was involved in. So this is a way for us to attract new members to our club, to engage our current members and get them more involved. And you know, I said earlier, we all have different skills and talents and passions, and I will never ask someone to donate to the CART fund instead of polio or instead of the Rotary Foundation. I'm not going to be a major donor to the Rotary Foundation, but I give my $10 a month via Rotary Direct because it's the right thing to do, because it's our foundation. And I keep my pinky painted purple for Polio Plus at all times, because that makes people ask me why. And I get an opportunity to tell them that we are this close to eradicating a disease from the face of the planet. You know, my mother, I have a lot of really bad memories from my mother's Alzheimer's journey, as many of you probably do with friends and loved ones as well. I remember the day that she looked at me and said, "Why do you want to spend the day with me today? Wouldn't you rather be with your mother or your family?" It was like a knife to my gut. It was Mother's Day Sunday when she said that to me. But I also remember the day that she looked at me and said, "Now, what grade are you in high school?" And I thought, I look so young today. This is great. We have to take those small wins with this disease wherever we can get them. And so I'm grateful that thanks to the opportunity of the CART Fund, I have the opportunity to do that. See, in my club and even in my district and now beyond, the four most dangerous words are when Tiffany Ervin says, "I have an idea." People get really nervous for some reason. But see, it's okay to have a crazy idea every once in a while. Had Roger Ackerman not had that idea to try to find a cure for Alzheimer's, we wouldn't have the CART Fund. Had Paul Harris not had that crazy idea in 1905 to invite 4 or 5 of his friends who had different ethnicities, different religious backgrounds, different vocational backgrounds, and to take them to lunch at a different place, rotating around week to week. If it hadn't been for that crazy idea, we wouldn't have 1.4 million people around the globe who are creating lasting change. I wear my Rotary pin every single day. You can see this morning, I earned my Mickey Mouse pin this morning at Lake Buena Vista, but I wear a Rotary pin every single day. Now, normally mine has a little bling on it because sequins are my Prozac, so I like the bling going on. But it also makes people ask me why. I was speaking to a Rotary Club in Alaska several years ago, and for their happy dollars, they pass around a great big fur hat. I mean, it's Alaska, and it has a Rotary cog on the front of it. And if you follow me at all on social media, you will know that I love to post about all of my Rotary activities. And I always like to take a service above selfie to post on social media. And so I said to the guy in Alaska, "I've got to have my picture made wearing that hat." He was like, "Honey, you don't want that hat anywhere near your head, trust me." So I did not get that photo. But the best part about that club is they fine you if you're not wearing your Rotary pin that day. And so they throw their money into that big fur hat. So when I got up to speak, I thanked them. And I said, "Guys, do me a favor, raise your hand again if you're wearing your Rotary pin today." And 75% of the room, their hands went up. It was wonderful. And I said, "Now do me a favor, keep your hand up if you wear it every day." And their hands all started coming down. And so I'll ask you the same thing I asked them. Are you only a Rotarian on Thursday at lunch? Or are you proud to be a Rotarian every single day? Because you know what that pin says about you? It says that you have a heart for service. It says that you're a leader in your community. You're good at networking and fellowship, and that you want to create lasting change, both here in your community and around the globe, perhaps with people that you will never even meet. People ask me all the time. First they say, "Tiffany, you really think outside the box." I'm like, "Guys, there is no box. You just have to think differently than you've always thought before." And so people say, "Well, what is your elevator pitch? If someone sees your pin and they want to know what is Rotary, what do you tell them?" I'm gonna let you guys in on my little secret. You don't need an elevator pitch. All you have to do is memorize the Rotary vision statement. It says, together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And that's what we do. We create lasting change. So when I was getting ready to be district governor a few years ago, a friend of mine gave me a copy of this book. And I found another version of it. It's called Adventure in Service. It was actually given to new Rotarians when they would join Rotary, almost like an orientation manual. It's first printed in the 1940s, and then over the years, newer versions. And so this exact copy was written in 1970, the year I was born. I thought it would be, you can do the math, it's okay. I thought it would be interesting to go in and see how much had Rotary changed from the time I was born to the time I became district governor. And here's what I learned. That sometimes, as much as things change, sometimes they stay the same. And it's quite interesting because in our organization, there's this great debate going on out there about whether or not we are a service organization. And technically, we pay dues, so we are a membership organization. But one of the products that we provide to our members and our customers is service. But we also provide leadership, we provide networking, fellowship, all types of skills and trainings that you would have to pay. You could probably come to this meeting and sit across from a therapist and have lunch with them, and it would have cost you $150 if you had, or more. But we have all kinds of opportunities to network and learn basic skills like fundraising or public speaking or leading a meeting or strategic planning. And my club is never going to ask me to do strategic planning or to submit our tax returns because they know it'll never happen. But they'll ask me to do fundraising or special events or news media or all of those things. And so I thought it was interesting. I found a quote in this book that I wanted to share with you guys. It says, the Rotarian himself gives immediate and concrete meaning to service above self, and he profits most who serves best. The compilers of dictionaries do not build the meaning of such mottos, nor do they dictate that Rotary should be known as a service club. These concepts are made meaningful by men of action, their action defining their words. So it says, even then, we didn't have to be known as a service club. But more importantly, it says that we are men of action. Okay, we know this book was written before women were even a member of this organization. So technically, they meant people of action. Even then, we were known as people of action. So what's interesting to me is that sometimes, as much as things change, sometimes they stay the same. And aren't we grateful that Rotary has evolved and changed over the years, that allows women to be in leadership roles, that allows us to have a more flexible attendance policy so that your members can continue to get perfect attendance even by joining you via Zoom these days. All of these things are things that we never would have imagined previously. But Rotary is full of people of action who are creating lasting change. And aren't we grateful for that? So a few years ago, I wanted to honor my mom. She died 5 years ago this week of Alzheimer's. And I said to my club, I have an idea. And they went, oh, great, here we go. And I said, I want to do a special fundraiser for the CART Fund to honor my mom. And they said, oh, sure, absolutely. What do you want to do? You want to do a golf tournament? You want to do a 5K? I said, you know what? Everybody does those. So we did a 0K. It's all the fun without the run. Yeah, I even had the stickers made that say 0.0. There's one on the back of my car in the parking lot right now. Bill is a track coach and a football coach, so he blows the starting horn and we race to the bar. It is a great event. All you need really is a bar, a buffet, and a band, and you've got it made. The start-finish line are all one and the same. But it was one of those things that people said, oh, I don't know if that's going to work. I said, listen, I have an idea. Let's try it. Because the reality is we've got to try new ideas. We've got to always be willing to think differently than we've ever thought before. And you never know. I want us to change the vocabulary in Rotary. Instead of us talking about recruitment and retention, let's talk about attraction and engagement. Is your club attractive to outsiders? And I can tell you guys, without a doubt, your club is. This entire district has been so welcoming to me this week, and I'm very grateful for that. But you are absolutely attractive to outsiders, and you're absolutely engaging your current members with all of the various projects that you do. And it's incredible because there's something for everyone. We all have joined this organization for a different reason. And perhaps some of us stay for a different reason than the one where we originally joined. But more importantly, people leave for a variety of reasons, and we have to be willing to address that fact as well and think about, are we doing the right things to engage our current members and to attract new members to our organization? Because we're a global organization with different values and cultures and different ideas from all over the world. We have an incredible opportunity to change lives. And maybe I'm never going to dig a well in Africa, or maybe for you, it's important to put a book in the hand of a third grader. Or for me, it's important to help try to find a cure for Alzheimer's and to try to eradicate a disease from the face of the planet. We all have different talents and skills and passions that we bring to the table. The question is, what's missing from your table? And so one of the things I love about this book is it says that when you join Rotary, you're told two things. Number one, you were chosen for this organization. Wow. I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't told that one. I think my boss told me to join. I don't know about some of y'all may have had the same issue. But just imagine if you've been a member for 5 years or 55 years. I'm telling you today, you were chosen for this organization. You bring value that no one else has. And it's up to you. Even people tell me, oh, Tiffany, I've been in Rotary for 50 years. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to come have lunch with my friends. You know what? That's great. I always tell people, be a mentor for one of those new members that someone else brings in. Teach them what it means to be in Rotary. And I understand that your club has that exact program. So I congratulate you on that, because that's an awesome opportunity that you have to influence the future Rotarians. So the first thing it says is that you were chosen for this organization. The second thing it says is you're about to begin an adventure in service. What an awesome opportunity we have to be of service here locally or around the globe with people that we may never meet. And I thank you for all of the good. Every club I've been to this week, they've been talking about that poker tournament y'all had. I just want you to know. I was at the Avalon Park Club on Tuesday morning, and they apparently had a poker tournament this weekend, but they were talking about y'all's. So I just want you to know, y'all have got a great reputation in this district, and I thank you for what you do, because you are truly making a difference. You are creating lasting change. And I know that I'm in a room full of Rotary geeks today, and that makes me very happy. And I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of my Rotary story. I'm grateful for what you do here in your community and around the globe, and for especially people that you will never meet. And I thank you for making this a worthwhile trip for me this week, and for the opportunity to get to know each of you a little bit better and share a little bit of my Rotary story. Thank you so much. Now, I'm happy to answer questions. Absolutely. I tell my entire life story, so I'm not sure what there is left to ask, but I do have a little gift for Dick. If you would come up for a second, can I do this real quickly while you guys get your questions ready? I wanted to present you with your very own copy of Adventure in Service, because I know that this club has a long history of past district governors, and you're going to continue that tradition. And I know that you are going to be an amazing governor. So thank you for your service. Thank you, guys.
Well, Tiffany, don't go away yet, because we have a gift for you as well. Hold the bag from the bottom, though.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's hear it for Tiffany.